Hi, everyone. I was recently in a car accident. I was hit by another driver, and it reinforced a lot of what I already know about the advocacy work that I do. Let's talk about this. Hi, I'm Travis, founder and elder advocate of Age Well Advocacy, where I provide care management for elders age 55 plus and people who care for them. As a gerontologist, also known as an aging expert, I'm proud to support people all throughout the United States. And I do have some injury from the accident. I have a concussion and a lot of back pain. Could it have been worse? Yes. Am I injured? Absolutely. And what I want to say is that in the advocacy work that I do to support caregivers of older loved ones and people age 55 plus themselves, I bring in my lived experience as a disabled person. And when you are disabled, like a lot of the people that I support, you go through healthcare a little differently. You go through culture in the United States as far as accessing resources, having people not take advantage of you a little differently. And one thing I will say is that I've always had an interesting relationship with first responders. So, police, especially firefighters and EMTs. And I'm very fortunate that my husband was with me and he was able to advocate for me a little bit because I was a little disoriented. I was injured and in shock, and I took an ambulance to the emergency room and had to follow up with primary and all that. And let's talk about first responders for a minute. So, they're often not trained to help someone who has a cognitive mental disability. And that results in a lot of situations that aren't very safe and a huge lack of dignity and respect. And when the first responders get there, they're always like, their attitude in the very beginning is kind of disrespectful. And they don't acknowledge when someone is having trouble answering questions, and if they can't this is my experience, if they can't visually see what's happening, and it's something in your mind and something in your brain, and they're not a whole lot of help. And there definitely needs to be a lot more training. I will tell you, one of my past experiences with firefighters, this was many years ago. I was working in an assisted living community, and I was having some catatonia. So my body was freezing up. I couldn't speak, but I was aware of what was going on around me. And my coworkers called 911. They were very concerned. They thought maybe my blood sugar was low. That wasn't the case, but they thought that. And the firefighters are usually the first people that come in the area I live in. So the firefighters get there and they tell everyone I'm faking it. They have my clothes hanging halfway off of me, showing my body to everybody in the building. And they drop me on the floor on purpose because they are trying to prove to people that I'm faking it. And then they drag me through the building because they didn't feel like bringing the stretcher in. They drag me by my arms and I'm dragging my legs on the floor. And this is, y'all, I know people show so much appreciation for our first responders, and there are good ones, but it does nobody a service to hide the fact that disabled people often get a lot of disrespect, dignity issues, bad treatment from first responders. And in my case, especially firefighters. So let's talk about why it's so important to have an advocate like what I do. When you are aging and have disability, especially when you have dementia, and this includes Alzheimer's dementia, you're going to have a lot of times when healthcare providers, first responders, social service professionals don't really have your best interest at heart. A lot of them are burned out and they're there for a paycheck. And there are not enough people in these careers that truly care about you. We need way more people to fill the open positions than there are the number of people who truly have a heart for it. And that's just the reality. So you need an advocate to come on in. I don't know why I said it like that, but you need an advocate to come on in and really be a voice for the person. Make sure that they're getting the care that they need. Make sure that they're getting the resources that are appropriate and great for their situation, not just any resources. Make sure that the caregiver is not overwhelmed, stressed out, completely on the brink of collapse because they're spending a tremendous amount of time, energy, and stress coordinating this care while they're trying to work. And, you know, when you're talking about dementia specifically, because I help people with and without dementia 55 plus and caregivers who support them. It's a whole different way of communication that most of these professionals do not have the skills, do not have the education to do. It's a different way of communicating. It's a different way of understanding what the person needs, and when the person cannot verbally express what they need, you need an advocate to come on in and help everyone to be on the same page. So that's as much as I'll say for this video. I could go on, but I'm trying to keep my videos around 10 minutes. If you appreciate support and guidance like this, or want to learn more about the work that I do, I invite you to visit my email newsletter linked in my bio. Every month I send out guidance on aging and caregiving, resources, and insights into my journey as a gerontologist and aging expert. I would love for you to be a part of this community. Take care.